So I will take 1 minute to introduce myself, and then I will understand yours also. So then we can dig about, our what is our destination and what is our requirement. Requirement is very clear, but I want to uh, keep things, same page actually.
Yeah.
So I'm having 14 plus years of experience in IT infrastructure. Along with that, I'm also having in the cloud technologies, like you start from Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure Cloud as well.
Okay.
So like I have my own company, same like uh, Manu.
Yes.
So like online training, and we also provide Google Cloud support, or cloud support to the US and Europe customers. So we have 2 3 customers also, MNC customers. So we are providing support by with the help of the team members like cloud expert, and also I'm doing job also parallelly with this all those stuff. So currently I'm
Oh
working
my
with,
God.
yeah, and recently I'm switched to the cloud security domain recently.
Where are
So
you
I'm
working, sir?
currently I'm working with Wipro, but next destination will be Accenture.
Sir, why do you need to work more? Take time in your
Right.
own business. Let it
Yeah.
grow.
So yeah, like it's not full time business kind of, so before office, after office kind of. So I'm not doing full time business. It's like part time.
That means you're working like 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day.
For 12, yeah, you will say 10 to 12 hours. Yeah, that's right.
Oh. In America, people have to work when they start at the age of 18. So by the time they turn 30, they just want to retire. And working 12 hours a day, like 12 to
Stuff,
13
right?
hours here, you're like, oh my God, that guy works a lot.
Okay. So without, with just respect the time, what about you actually? What is your IT experience and what is your background actually? IT background I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was working, first I was in India, I was working with TCS and HCL, and I did my I was basically working more in the Windows domain when I was working with these companies. So I have good VM experience and I have good AD and all experience. Overall, like I like more of Windows domain experience. And I have total of 8 years of experience, 7 to 8 years. And when I moved here to the US, here most of the jobs are government projects. So when you have that kind of government projects, they expect one person to do everything. That if they are going to hire you, they want you to know everything. They want you to know how your storage works, how your database works, how are your Linux servers working, and what is all going on. So here you have like 2 to 4 IT members, and they are supposed to take care of everything that is going on in the company. So it was a change of model for me, because
Mm-hmm.
working in India, I was working with TCS and HCL and all these companies. So their model was very clear that you take care of Windows domain and then Office 365 or something like that. But here it came and changed for me. So I think I'm having struggle a little bit. But yes, I was working here for 2 years, and now I'm looking for a good job change. And I have a line of couple of interviews lined up.
Mm-hmm.
One
Okay,
is
great.
to
What
prepare
about
for.
AWS? AWS
So
theoretical
I
knowledge actually. Mm-hmm.
So theoretical knowledge is this, that in my project, the one I was working with my company, they just want to put their base environment in VMware and their disaster recovery environment in AWS. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I was working on that, but I had my struggles because I've never worked on AWS. I've tried to take up a training online, like a cloud practitioner course. I completed
Mm-hmm.
2.5 hours. It was a 4 hour training or something for a cloud practitioner or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my kind of experience right now, and I think I have a lot to learn. AWS is completely new to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The theoretical
A-
knowledge, what
any
EC2 is
other
all about,
any
what is
other cloud
storage.
experience? Yeah.
So no, sir, I do not have. I have like VM experience, like VMware, using VMware, that kind of experience, but not into Azure or AWS or Google. Not these.
Okay. Okay. So let's quickly start and make some foundation, right? And then we'll
Yeah.
discuss about all the layers of AWS cloud and how things are related, and where is, we have to focus for the interviews actually, where should be the questions actually arises, right?
Okay.
So let's take this. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Don't say sir. Ratnesh is fine.
No, it's okay,
So
sir.
this is this is data center, and this is physical one. And take this data center as a virtual, and this is your another data center, kind
Mm.
of virtual one, and the third one is your HCI, hyper converged infrastructure, right? It's very common. And the last not least, we are going to talk about big cloud, AWS, right?
Yeah.
So as you already highlighted, right? I'm a Active Directory administrator. You are Windows administrator. Your husband is suppose VMware administrator. Someone is like
No, no, no,
firewall
no, no,
administrator.
no. No, sir,
Uh-huh.
he's from finance background. I am only the person who worked on
I'm just
VM.
giving example. Okay, don't take it
Oh,
serious.
okay.
Example. Take it
Oh,
easy.
okay.
Example. So suppose X is like storage administrator, Y is like firewall or security administrator. I'm a developer. Someone is tester, kind of, you know. So when we are talking about AWS cloud or any cloud as a part of pre-sales team or a part of any transitioning or migration team, you have to you have to know everything. Actually that is really not possible. Same like you talk about the government project in US, right? Expectation
Yes.
from the customer is you as an engineer, you as an architect should handle everything, starting from vendor coordination, SME role, architect role. You have to take care of each and everything. That's
Yes,
expectation.
sir.
Same expectation from AWS cloud also. So treat AWS cloud as a your government entity in America, right? You're working from the
Yes.
customer. So AWS is same like government, government organization, means expectation is too much. But the problem is, being a human, right? We are not robots. We are not, doing the machine learning or artificial intelligence, and we are going to take care of everything. That is really real time. Is it not possible, right? So yes, you have to go to 60%, 70%, 75, 80 kind of, But beyond that, nobody can go actually, right? But yes, we have to make sure that yes, we have understanding of all the layers of cloud, AWS cloud. So this is your this is again data center.
Yes.
So I have listed here three kind of data center. One is like physical, second is your virtual, and third type I mentioned as a HCI. HCI is nothing as a hyper converged infrastructure data center, right? And the last is your AWS cloud as a public cloud we are talking about, right? So
Yeah.
what is the drawback or what is the problem with the physical data center in one or two line quickly?
A lot of money is being used. A lot of resources are being used because in a physical data center,
In pre-sales language, let's call TCO,
yeah,
total cost of ownership,
yeah,
short form. Like you have to talk these words regularly,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
should make yourself familiar, right? TCO, total
yeah.
cost of ownership, is increasing. What else?
And I think you need engineers to take care of it because there is going to be
For
hardware failure.
right, to manage the hardwares, to manage the softwares, you need different, like EMC
Yeah,
product, you need EMC engineer. HP product, you need HP engineer, kind of, right? And
yeah,
high availability is decreasing. Why I'm telling you
yeah,
this? Because your investment is increasing, means your TCO is increasing, but your high availability is not there because it's physical kind of, and physical, anything is physical, lot of chances of damage, right?
yeah. Human errors,
Yes, human errors, damage, or also DR, disaster recovery,
disaster recovery. Yeah,
yes, business continuity planning, which is really going to decrease in physical data center. Make sense?
yep,
That's why we shifted as a VM administrator to virtualized data center. And what benefit we got? See, just focus on these things. Actually, it is going to give you clear cut picture of your AWS cloud, because AWS cloud is nothing. It's a combination of complete these three things. Getting my point?
Yes.
So why I'm focusing on these things, because we are not going to talk about later on, but I will be referring this in our
Yep. Yep.
discussion, in our scenarios. That's why I'm giving you foundation. You know
Yep.
very well all those things, but just I'm articulating and just recalling all those things together. Okay.
Yes, this prepares me for the interview. I'll have the right words and I'll have the.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So we shifted from physical data center to virtual data center. What benefit we got from the virtual center data center?
One, our cost of ownership decreased.
Yes.
Our engineers could have, we just needed, we could access them from anywhere. So we could use the same engineers for virtual, and
Flexibility. Yeah. Remote
flexibility
access.
increased.
Flexibility. Remote access. Yeah. What about high
So
availability?
we,
Also increased, right?
yeah,
Yes. And
high
what about
availability
the,
increased. Human errors,
yeah.
disaster recovery increased.
Yes.
Uh,
Right. So there are many things actually we talk about, but let's focus on main things, right? Why we need IT services? In two liner. Why we need IT services?
Basically, to host an environment so that it is accessible from everywhere and people
So
can use
high availability is the
high
main thing.
availability. Yes.
Availability, right? With all the
Yeah.
security, confidentiality, right? And all those things should be there, right? And also DR, disaster recovery.
Disaster
Something,
recovery.
consider this corona pandemic situation. US
Yep.
is not in the corona, I think so, but we are still in the
No, we
pandemic
did
situation.
have. Yeah.
Yes. So might be few parts will be there, still there. So think about this is kind of DR situation. Everyone is working from home. Nobody is going to office, and no productivity issue, right? Everyone is
Yep.
performing, doing their doing their activities and making business running, right? So
Yep.
things like physical data center, virtual data center. What happened? We try to use the optimum utilization of our hardwares like servers, storage hardwares, HP servers, IBM, Dell. So what we did actually, we started using the optimum utilization of our resources, physical, software, virtual, and everything, right?
Yep.
But still here DR was like 50% kind of, and high availability was like you can say 80% or 70%. And to make this percentage up and running, you have to make a lot of investment. That is again going to increase your TCO, total cost of
Yeah. Cost
ownership
of
of your data
ownership.
center, right? But in
Yep.
virtualization, what happened? Our TCO decreased in compared to physical,
Yeah.
right? And our DR also increased, our high availability also increased. So
Increased.
90 to 95% HA high availability we achieved in virtualization by using VMware capabilities, VMware
Yes.
vSphere, right? Citrix Gen Server, and also
Yep.
Microsoft Hyper-V, and new
Hyper-V.
other SCI will talk about, right? So, and DR was up to 90 or 95% we achieved. And the third thing is HCI. You heard about that? Hyperconverged
No.
infrastructure.
Nope.
You know about VDI solution?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes, like Citrix VDI, VMware
Citrix video.
Horizon VDI,
The
Azure
Horizon video.
WVD, right? So actually, like people are working from home, they need their desktop, but that physical desktop we can also provide through the VDI solution, and also we can
Yep.
provide them virtual desktop like Windows 10,
Desktop. Yeah.
right? So HCI is nothing is like hyper converged infrastructure, data center within a box. So this is the box. Our data center will be lying within the same, like your hypervisor, your storage, your networking, everything will be within the box. What you have to provide from the data center? Power supply and network connectivity. Clear? So
Yep.
Nutanix. You heard about Nutanix?
Yep. A
So
little much.
Nutanix is one of the product which is providing HCI, and there is a Dell EMC, VxRail, vBlock. A lot of products are there, and also Cisco HyperFlex.
Mm.
Okay, all those products belong to HCI. So, and the last not least, by combining all these three, okay, we are going to build our AWS cloud,
Hmm.
right? So
Yep.
in AWS cloud, there will be data center, there will be physical data center, virtual data center, hardware also, HCI also, everything will be there.
So
But it,
one question. So
hmm,
we said HCI is data center within a box, right?
yes, yeah,
So that means, so this means that if you are using this hyper conversion infrastructure, that means you're connecting to the VDI. You have
hmm,
access to your hardware machines through ILO and your DRAC, and
yes, that's right, yeah,
access to the VMware, just like you will go to vSphere or just
yes,
and
yes.
you'll be able to log in.
But what is happening? There is a
Yeah.
limitation with HCI. It is only applicable for small companies, small business, not big pro. Like you can't host 10,000 VDIs within a one box, right? So there are
Exactly.
limitations. But yes, you are going to get output. You to access the hardware, you need ILO, right? You need
Yep.
DRAC, you need HPR, same kind of things. But of course, within the hardware, everything is virtualized, like VMware, Nutanix, everything, all those things you are going to use within the HCI.
So
Yeah.
when we are working with these projects, like we were working in India with Exxon, or let's take an example, and they had 15 to 20,000 servers in total, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were still going home and connecting to the VDI and were able to log in.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a part of HCI?
So if like there are 3,000 users or 4,000 or 5,000 users, so that's the best use case of HCI, right? Because
Okay.
investment will be less, right? And you are going to get optimum utilization of your hardware, virtualization layer, and performance will be also good because you have, you know, compute intensive hardware from the Nutanix, from the Dell EMC, and from Cisco. There are many players actually.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
So now when we are going to discuss completely about AWS cloud, I will refer all those things, physical data center, virtual data center, because we have to discuss about migrations also.
Yes.
Okay, because many customers in pre-sales, if you are going to get any RFP, you are going to get any new projects, so generally customer ask, oh, hey, my name is I'm an X customer, right, and my name is X, and I want to migrate my data center A to data center to the AWS cloud, regions or zones. So and my data center workloads are like mix of physical data center, virtual data center, and HCI. So as you pre-sales manager or pre-sales delivery head, you should aware about the existing infrastructure, what should be the form, and how we
Yeah.
think about migrating all those things within the AWS public cloud.
So
Clear?
you said
Any
you use
question?
the term RFP. What is that?
Yes. So because you are you are going to part of pre-sales team, so a request for proposal.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a company X, right? And you are
Yeah.
company Y, and you are providing services. And
Mm.
there are suppose many companies like Y, Z, and O kind of, right? And I'm
Yeah.
company X. Okay.
Yeah.
So bidding,
Yes, sir.
right? So suppose I have to migrate my data center into the AWS, and
Yep.
there are around 10,000 workloads. When I'm talking about workload, means servers, your VDI, your devices, right? So 10K. So now what I will do, I will create RFP, request for proposal,
Proposal.
or intent. Some many people call it intent or RFPI kind of. So in RFPI, there will be some SOW will be defined. What is SOW? Scope of work.
Scope of work.
Try to understand these terms because these are very common for your
I'm
pre-sales team.
making a note, sir.
Yes, RFP,
Request for proposal or intent,
yes,
and S to W is the
SOW,
scope of work.
scope of work, right? So RFP will be given to this player, this player, this
Yes.
player, and SOW will be also given to this player,
Yep.
all these three players, right? Now I'm the customer X. Okay, they will be providing me quotation. And what is the SOW? In SOW, it is mentioned as customer X want to migrate all their all their workloads of 10K to the AWS cloud. This is the one line SOW, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Getting my point? It's very tough.
Yes, sir.
It's very complicated. Okay.
Yes.
So RFP thinks there, this is a main business of pre-sales team actually.
Yep.
Pre-sales. Okay. All the documentation related with RFP, everything will SOW will be, then will be, suppose everyone has given like $1, this has given $2, and this vendor has given $3. I'm like $1. Why? I'm the Y service provider. So I
Yep.
have given services you within the $1 for 10K. So what you will do?
Yeah.
You are as a like, suppose I was the customer. I'm sorry. Okay, no mismatch. So anyone is a customer and anyone is a service provider. So what is happening? You will sign with deal with this vendor, right?
Yep.
So the vendor is charging $1 per server. And there are 10,000 servers. So count the money how much customer has to pay.
Yeah.
Clear? So there will be technical, technical signature will be there, documentation will be there, and bidding will be done, given to Y service provider. Okay.
Yep.
What is the next thing after this?
Setting up that infrastructure. That
Yes, I'm coming to that. Yeah, I'm coming to that. So now RFP done, SOW signed. Okay. Now implementation team will come into the picture within the sync with the pre-sales team. We called is HLD. What is HLD? High level design diagram.
Yep.
Make a note of, please. HLLD, low level design diagram. So you might have worked on the Visio. Visio, Microsoft Visio? No? Yes? Maybe?
No.
No. So mostly we build the HLD diagram on Visio, MS Visio, or many many platforms available where can be create our this HLD thing. Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir.
All okay?
Yep. I just had to disconnect. My mom was calling me from India.
Okay. So can we connect tomorrow?
No. I will disconnect them. I'll talk to them whenever later.
No. So let's connect tomorrow. Not a problem.
No, sir. I want to really do this.
Mm-hmm. How much time it will
Indian
take?
moms are the same thing.
Uh-huh.
They will keep calling all day.
Okay. How much time it will take?
No, sir. I'll talk to her later. Let's continue with the class.
Okay. No problem. If it's not important, let's continue.
Yeah. It's not important. She keeps like Indian parents.
Yeah. He might be sleeping actually. It's India time, sleeping time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was talking about, HLD, right?
So we were talking about high level design diagram, low level design diagram.
Yes. So all these things will be taken care by the implementation team, architect team, like AWS architect or Azure architect. Those people will be taking care of. So first, what will be the action? Those things will be taken care from your customer actually. If something is already existing, right?
Yep.
So those documentation will be taken care and that will be rebuilt if required. Clear?
Yep.
Okay. So you might be aware about the IaaS, PaaS, SaaS in AWS cloud, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, leave that. And what about public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud? Clear about it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So IaaS is infrastructure as a service, PaaS is platform as a service, and SaaS is software as a service.
Right. And what is hybrid cloud?
Hybrid cloud is a combination of private and public cloud. Private cloud is when one company uses that cloud just for itself. They have bought their servers and that is only used for that particular project or something. And public cloud, everybody can use a set of servers according to their timings or something, I think. And hybrid,
right.
Both.
Right.
They have a set of their own servers, but they use some of the public servers when they see the load on the web servers is increasing. So they will use a part of the public servers and that total combines as a
Mm-hmm.
hybrid cloud, if I'm right.
Right.
So was I right? It was exactly this?
Yeah. So you have memorized the complete, the line items.
No, I was
Storage.
actually doing that class, right? I was telling you, sir. So
Uh-huh.
whatever they told, I was making notes and I read them later.
Right. That's great. Yeah. Mix combination of any on-premise or any public cloud, private cloud. Combination of two will be hybrid cloud always, right?
Hybrid cloud, yeah.
Networking. What else? Storage. Let's
Linux,
say DB also, right?
yeah.
And what else?
Networking,
Security,
then
right?
EC2.
I will come to this. So firewall, security. What else?
Wait, Linux.
No guesses, please. DevOps engineering, and the last not least, monitoring.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I will type here AWS.
Yep.
Okay, make sense?
Yep.
What is all these things actually?
These are all the parts of AWS. IAM is identity access management. So
Mm-hmm.
all together computes and makes the AWS completely. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I think in access management you have the dual factor authentication and giving the group policies and
Mm-hmm.
read write tags, permission management and everything. And
Okay.
in compute it is I think more about EC2 machines and how you launch a configuration and everything. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and storage is more about S3 bucket and having auto scaling inside them accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And network is about what ports and I think so. Kubernetes, right? No, network is about ports, HTTP ports and TCP ports and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
What else?
security is the firewalls, whatever you're using, and the security, cyber security options that you are going to use to protect
Mm-hmm.
the environment. DevOps is development side, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and monitoring is what we actually call DevOps. Is like you keep monitoring all how many servers are online, how many servers are
Cloud watch kind of
CloudWatch
things,
and
right?
all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So actually, when in as a part of pre-sales,
Yep.
one term we use as a full stack
Yep.
architect. Full stack architect. What is the meaning of this full stack architect?
Someone who has knowledge of all these components.
Yes. So suppose you are a storage administrator. You are from coming from the network administrator. So you are coming from this compute actually, the VMware hypervisor and everything, right? So, but in AWS cloud, the infrastructure and everything you have to manage as a holistic approach. One thing you are not going to manage. One engine you're not going to manage. You have to manage everything starting from IAM to until monitoring. Getting my point? So this is
Yep.
complete AWS cloud infrastructure. Okay. So we'll start from identity access management. Okay. So
Yep.
you know about Active Directory.
Yep. This
You
is
know about Azure Active Directory.
no.
Azure Active Directory, that's Azure Cloud Active Directory, right? In the same way, we have AWS Directory. Okay, where you can create users, where you can create groups, where you can create service account. Getting my point?
Yep.
So user ID, password, and everything you can create there. You know about SSO or ADFS?
Yep.
What is ADFS?
It is a row when you install on your domain Active Directory server. When
Mm-hmm.
So you configure that role. It is Active Directory Files
Federation
Federation
services.
Services. Yeah.
Right. Active Directory Federation services. You got it. So
Yeah.
actually, ADFS in AWS IAM. What is IAM?
IAM is uh,
Identity and Access Management.
oh, IAM. Yeah, it is Identity Access Management.
Yes, you know very well. Just you have
Yeah.
to recall those things, right? So
Yeah.
AWS IAM is nothing. It is going to provide you identity and access management, right?
Yeah.
Users, groups, roles, responsibilities, everything you are going to take care of IAM,
Yeah.
right? So in IAM, there is a AWS SSO,
Yeah.
AWS single sign-on,
Say single sign on.
right? And
Yeah.
along with that, you have option of multi-factor authentication, MFA,
Yeah.
two-way authentication. So one is like
Yeah.
user ID and password, and another you can use as a your
Access key and secret access key.
access and secret key, or OTP, anything you can configure in
Yeah.
MFA. What is benefit of MFA?
So when you're working from a remote location and you want to access and you want to make sure that your computer is protected and the right person
Mm-hmm.
logging on, because the data is very important and you would
Mm-hmm.
want everyone to have access to your cloud because
Mm-hmm.
everything on your business is on that cloud. So it just provides better security, I think.
Uh, yes. So already we have many tools already available in Active Directory, right? We have Kerberos authentication, Kerberos, right?
Yeah.
LDAP. So why do we need MFA?
I think it is two-way. That's I don't
Yeah,
know.
security angle is there, right?
Yeah.
Because we are concerned about the security of our access login, of the users
Yeah.
in AWS cloud. And the Kerberos and LDAP is not secure. Okay, that's why we use,
Yeah.
it can be compromised. That's why recommendation is go for MFA. What is benefit of single sign-on?
That you can access. So it's like basically a lot of things could be signed on with one time sign on. Like you could sign something once, and
Mm-hmm.
smaller components inside all will be signed on all together. So you don't have
Just take example, real-time example, Facebook and Instagram,
Facebook and Instagram. So if you log
right?
in Facebook, Instagram gets logged in.
Right. So
That's
you
it.
have Facebook
You
account,
log
you
in
need not to,
once
yeah.
and you get access to a lot many more applications.
Right. So
You
that
don't
kind
have,
of single sign-on feature is available, right? And that
yeah,
is going to get benefited in real time. Social media is different thing. Even
yeah,
companies are using, like suppose Amazon is there, right? And there is another like so this e-commerce application, and they want to some give offer. So you will buy something from Amazon, right? You are going to get
yeah,
offer from this XYZ e-commerce portal or e-commerce application app,
yeah,
right? So those kind of benefits you are going to get through single sign-on, and that is going to reduce effort of your company, your developers, and also it will be customer friendly
yeah,
with all security intact, right?
yeah.
So IAM, though mostly AWS IAM is nothing, just to provide the access with all the roles and responsibilities, and to manage the complete AWS cloud access management. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
What is compute in AWS cloud?
It is basically having machines, how many machines you need, what is their configuration, how much
Mhm.
you need, what kind of machines you will be deploying in your, what kind of network they'll be having, what kind of storage they're going to be having. So basically in VMware, like we say, creating a new machine in the ESXi host is
Mhm.
to do in compute here.
Okay, right, right. Okay, so what we are discussing, something you are able to relate, like the kind of things you already had knowledge, right? You have some
Yep.
knowledge on that. So something you can differentiate what we're discussing is making some sense.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So we have to relate, to the business, to the real time
Yes.
scenarios. So suppose your customer is asking, we have VMs or we have servers on premise, right? And
Yep.
they want to migrate those VMs and servers into the AWS cloud means they
Yeah.
want to be migrated as a VM into the EC2 instances,
EC2
right?
instances, yes.
Yes. And
So it's
also
just like a
suppose
virtual machine in
customers,
AWS environment.
yeah. One sec, give me a sec. Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry. Ah, baby is crying actually.
Yeah, it's okay, sir. Everybody has the same story.
Yeah, yeah. So because you don't want, do the homework and all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to
So
do the same thing too.
in our yeah. Okay,
We used to get
childhood.
beaten up.
Yeah, yeah, right. So where we were actually compute.
We were at compute EC2. So you told me that then
Mm,
you have to convert, you're migrating your on-premises environment to a cloud environment. So you're going to convert your VM machines into EC2.
mhm. EC2 instances, right? And we
Yes.
have many tools available. We have many migration tools available, which we can use to achieve the thing, to complete all those things, right?
Yep.
Coming to container services, what is? Do you know about a monolithic application and microservices?
No, sir.
What is application?
Application is basically a set of instructions that makes any effort easier.
What is Facebook?
It is a social, it is a application too. Or you can say it's a website or
It's
an app too.
application. Simple. It's
Yeah.
application, right?
Yep.
So, what is LinkedIn?
It's also an application.
Simple. Keep simple actually. So, actually, the application is nothing. You are going to use that application to achieve something into the business, into your social media, or anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So, there are two kind of applications: monolithic
Okay.
and microservices.
Monolith.
As you are coming from the Windows background, VMware background, right? So
Yep.
you might be aware about the IIS applications.
Yes, sir.
Remember?
Yes,
So
IS form or something.
yeah, IIS services, IIS form, IIS admin kind of thing. So
Yes, sir.
actually, application is hosted on the server. IIS application is installed on the server. An application is published. You can access the application through browser, Chrome, IE, or any browser, right?
Yep.
But the problem with, and that is called monolithic application.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to make a layman language, you know the fat client and thin client.
Yeah. So,
Compare your laptop.
yeah,
Compare your
yeah.
laptop with your desktop,
Yep, yep, yep.
right? So easy to you can carry your MacBook anywhere, but you cannot take your desktop anywhere, right? Or
Yep.
server anywhere. So that kind of difference
Yes.
is there in monolithic and microservices. So an example of microservices.
So monolithic is the one that would be carried around.
Mhm. Complete the sentence, please.
Sir, what is exactly monolithic and what is
Yeah,
microservices?
monolithic like you have your Windows server, right? You install your IIS, and on top of it, you're going to host on any application, like suppose www something.com, right?
Yep.
So that means you can host those applications. And now, let me show you how application work actually. That will give you a clear picture. So, you know about web tier, app tier, and DB tier?
No, sir.
App. So I'm not going to be more, core technical here, but I want to give you some glimpse how things work actually in AWS Cloud. Okay, app, and we have web, and we have um, DB. DB is nothing database.
Database.
So app tier, this is called tier, web tier,
Yep.
and DB tier. So app
Yep.
tier is nothing. It's your like your Facebook, your LinkedIn. Okay.
Yep.
So let me compare this. Suppose you are using your LinkedIn on your mobile as an app.
That's app here.
That's
If I'm using it
that's
on,
app tier.
yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
using it on Safari, then I am doing app here.
And also just compare, if you're using by browser, it's kind of monolithic. Okay. And if you're using
Okay.
app, the API calling is happening, that's kind of microservices. This is not exactly the same, but I'm just making a differentiation. When you're using the browser, and browser is not always friendly, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you have web, and then you have DB. So web application and all those things. What is a database? So database is nothing, is going to keep all your data inside, and whenever you are going to search anything, suppose I have my company, right? So I have in my company many employees are working as a contract, as a full-time, as a freelancer, right? So I have to keep track of all those resources, right?
Yep.
Because I have to give salary to on them on time, and I have to also make their attendance kind of thing, right? So I need database also. Clear?
Yep.
But think about Amazon application, where we do our e-commerce purchase, right? Online purchasing.
Yep.
If Amazon come into the picture with their app tier, web tier, that is hosted on one Windows server, their web server is hosted on another Windows server. I'm sorry, and your app is application is hosted on another server, right? And also, if Amazon is there, there will be different module like payment, cart will be there. You're going to add items into your cart, right? You're going to
Yep.
then make an order of that, and then you are going to do the payment. And then
Yep.
your delivery process will start from the store or from the warehouses. Getting my point?
Yep. Yes. Yes.
So actually in monolithic, those things, if you remember 10 years back or 7, 8 years back, there was problem like application got crashed.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
shop like, say, Apple launches their phone i11, i10. So the application got crashed, or a store got crashed online, I'm talking about, right? Not physical
Yep.
one.
They did
Okay.
not have a database.
Yeah, no, they have database, but it was not able to manage the scalability, what you're going to get through AWS cloud.
Okay.
Scalability, high availability, DR. So because they were earlier using monolithic application,
Okay.
right? So Windows Server will be there, Windows Server 2012, Windows Server 2018. So Windows Server has some limitation, right? It cannot take more than 10 connections. It cannot take more than 100 connections. So there are limitations actually. And auto scaling was not there earlier, if you remember correctly, because you are
Yep.
already VMware administrator, right? The
Yep.
auto scaling feature get started into the cloud era, right?
Yep.
So microservices example is your Amazon app, okay, where there are different modules. You have financial module, you have warehouses module. Think about, I'm just giving one example. Your Amazon application, when you're doing shopping late night, or doing shopping early morning, or in your office hours, have you seen any downtime in the application?
No.
No, because if there will be downtime, it will be loss for the company,
The
right?
loss of business.
So how they are managing their applications, how they are managing their DB tier, web tier, and application, how they're upgrading their applications, and how they're updating their card, their warehouses, how they're doing that actually.
Through data storage DB.
Remember, in our VMware world, in the server world, when we are going to make any upgrade, there will be downtime, something downtime. We'll be doing
Yes.
over the weekend.
So I
Getting my
think load
point?
base.
Right.
They're going to
Scalability.
put it on the disaster recovery environment for the time
Right,
they're gonna.
right. Yes. So see, hey man, those applications will be not available over the weekend, but no, Amazon is available 24 into 7. All those the shopping applications are available 24 into 7. That's a microservices. Means if you are updating your financial portal or financial module, it is not going to impact your warehouse, your car, your the store or anything, any module. Clear?
Yep.
So actually, for the microservices, we use container services. The containers as like VMs. Okay,
Yep.
VM means servers. So containers are
Yep.
very lightweight, and mostly containers are based out Linux, Ubuntu, CentOS.
Yeah,
Very less for
CentOS.
Windows, but mostly for Linux flavors. Clear? But
Yep.
very useful for our this microservices.
Yep.
Clear? So EC2 is also part of that. And in the compute, we are going to get high scalability, auto scalability, high availability, DR, disaster recovery, right? That is also very
Yep.
much possible among the zones, availability zones, regions, all those things. So data center named as a zone, like a region, right? And combination of region will be known as a zone. You must
Yep.
heard about that in your study of
Yes.
AWS cloud, right? It's simple as simple,
Zone,
right?
reasons, and then edge locations, right?
Edge locations. And when we talk about edge location, that will come into the picture when we talk about CDN, content delivery network, the Netflix, Amazon Prime, right?
Mhm.
So CDN will come into the picture when you are doing video streaming, like you are watching some web series, like by using
Yeah.
Netflix, and Netflix is hosted on AWS cloud.
AWS cloud.
Right. So I will highlight it here one example. So that might be the question in the interview also. So generally people ask, right, so this Netflix was, if you remember, in 2016 or 2017 or 15 actually, or 16, Netflix was down for 24 hours globally.
Yeah. I think they were migrating to AWS.
There was outage because earlier, no, migration was not the reason. The reason was their all infrastructure was lying in physical data center, virtual data center, and SCI. Remember, I just
Yep.
referring now that thing, the first one discussed actually. So
Yes, yes,
they
yes.
were on into the on-premise infrastructure completely, and something went down. Their Netflix was down, and it was huge loss for them actually, because if it is down for 1 hour, 2 hour, or 12 to 24 hours, people are going to refund my subscription charges, right? Because they are taking membership, annual membership, monthly membership. And what this Netflix did actually, they migrated their all the resources on the cloud. They are not into hybrid cloud mode. Getting my point?
Yep.
Complete AWS cloud with all high availability DR. And since then, there is no downtime and there is no streaming issue from Netflix. And reason behind that, edge locations.
Yep.
Remember edge locations?
Yeah.
Yeah. So edge location is nothing. In edge location, you are going to get high bandwidth, right? We are using our broadband connection from T-Mobile, from Airtel in India, in US might be you are using T-Mobile, Verizon, right? So you
Yep.
are getting 100 Mbps, 200 Mbps, 1 Gbps. So kind of bandwidth we have now. And when AWS is, AWS has edge location, they have like
That reduces the latency.
latency. Yes, if latency will be not there, there is no streaming. If you remember older days when we're trying to internet was just started, if we have to watch any video or our family wedding or our wedding or any wedding kind of videos, actually it was like streaming here and there, and you are not a complete of 5 minutes video or 10 minutes video. Remember,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things
yeah.
are. So in Netflix you will not see any streaming issues, right? Even Amazon Prime also another example. And
Yeah.
I need not to tell Amazon is hosted on which cloud platform. It's
Yeah.
AWS, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so these are examples actually you can highlight into your interview session. That will give you, clear big picture. You
Yeah.
are aware where Netflix is hosted. Don't give example of Amazon because that is by name is very
Yeah.
very obvious. But try to give some Netflix example so that will attract them. They will understand. Yes, she is already knowing all those things, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and you can highlight the as location. CDN, content delivery network,
CDM content delivery.
not CDM. It's N, not M. Not mango. Okay,
Content
this is
delivery
network.
network.
So CDN is nothing. It's AWS CDN, and we call it is like CloudFront, AWS CloudFront. If it's more technical, I will skip it.
Okay.
Okay, so keep our agenda and discussion until pre-sales only because AWS is too big. I'm telling you
So,
upfront.
but I have to have technical knowledge and I have to give them expert. Like I was setting up an infrastructure and I got this scenario and then what did
Mhm.
as in task and then what was
Right,
my action and what was my result. So
right. So if you want to dig up on that part, definitely you should know CloudFront actually. So
yeah.
CloudFront is nothing. CloudFront is the services which you are going to enable for your CDN services. Just example I highlighted Netflix.
Service
Okay,
need to enable.
CDN. You have to enable CDN services. And
Okay.
not only Netflix, go for YouTube, but YouTube will not come on AWS because Google will take care of they have their own cloud, home business
Yeah.
kind of. But other things like any streaming kind of thing, you have to broadcast something, you have your company or all those things you can do by using CDN services, AWS Cloud Front. So
Okay.
question
So
might be,
CloudFront is basically that provides
it
you with the right edge location for your
yes,
infra.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely, yes. Got it?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so the compute part is done. Next, move on. Any question on compute?
No. Finds you
No.
the right. So 1 second.
Mhm.
It may be a, but they are gonna ask me technical question because this is AWS and they're gonna ask
Mhm.
what were you installing, how were you working on it. So I need technical knowledge. This is good that we could just have a brief startup.
Mhm.
We just find out everything in like general, but then
Right. Mhm.
deeper on the topics I showed you. They're gonna ask
Right.
me a lot many questions in detail
R-
about those.
Right. So, what I will do actually, I will talk about. I'm not moving forward other engines actually. Let's focus on the compute only. So there might be questions from the migration side.
Yep.
So what I will. So let's deal here. Today evening, your evening actually, I'm talking. I think is possible or not. So let's make it possible because tomorrow is like big session for me. Okay. So what I will do in our evening session, we are going to talk about the migration strategies as a pre-sales architect or pre-sales manager. If you are going to get request for migration from on-prem to AWS cloud, how you are going to
Yep.
strategize all those things and what tools you are going to use within the AWS cloud. What I will do, I will forward you documentation also before connecting. Getting my point?
Yes, and I'll study them.
Yes. So that will give you clear picture. And what I discuss, so I'm not going to touch upon everything because see, we have to make sure that we have complete pre-sales related and technical knowledge, and we can have some hands-on discussion and strategic discussion that will give you clear picture. Let me share with you our today's discussion so you can offline just take care of it. Okay. This is AWS only, I think.
So you have some AWS lab where I could log in and try to create my own roles or create my own.
Uh, so see, I have, but it's like free subscription one. You can also get that same thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Free
So
subscription from AWS.
yes, free. I think $200 you are going to get there, free subscription. I will guide you. Okay. Don't worry.
Okay,
is
sir.
the document I'm going to share with you. It is going to give you the step-wise process also, the same thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is AWS. We focus on that. Okay. Hmm. Associate. Practitioner you already completed, right? That's good thing. Okay. The foundation thing I'm going to give you, you might be aware, but you can do offline. Okay. I'm giving access on this one.
Okay.
The Google Drive only. Okay. You can access here. You can
Yep.
download also if you want. Yeah, not a problem. I have your mail ID. So here we go. Many people are already accessing it. Okay,
Yep.
here we go. So you have to go through with this document completely. Okay, this is kind of
Okay.
foundation actually, and it will give you some little bit clear picture. And I'm also going to focus on migration part because migration is very critical, and
Yep.
there will be many questions because customers are moving from on-premise to this one, right? Migration. This is AWS, right? Yeah. Mm, yes. Technical. Okay. So a lot of things for you actually. Just go quickly. Try to cover if possible. If not, you can take more time because it will take time. So you got this mail or not?
Let me check, sir. I actually switched off my internet.
Yeah. Try from mobile only. There will be some mail communication. So try to cover these two documentation. One is the migration one, and yeah, I think two are fine. Just go through it. Start with foundation. Do the overview or walk through, and make your confidence, build a confidence, and then move forward to the migration.
Yes,
I will
I did
discuss
receive two.
two, right? So try. You can download it if you want to download it. You can download it also. Okay.
Yep.
Spend some time on these documentation. Okay. So I think
Yes, sir.
1 or 2 hours required, or more than that required actually, so for you to get it, to cover it. And I will try to connect your evening today. I think 7 a.m. is possible. Okay.
Oh, okay. 7 p.m., right?
My 7 a.m. I think
So mine will be 5:30 p.m., I think. Or
yeah, so yeah, kind of, you can convert CST EST
yes, yes,
accordingly.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that's it for today. Any question before we'll wrap up?
No, I think I had a fair idea. I just wanted to make sure that we actually, when you do a lab thing, and we could do
Mhm.
creation,
Yeah,
and
so
then
follow
I'll
the
have
document.
lifetime scenarios.
Right. Follow the lab documentation and create your account in AWS Azure Cloud. That will be free subscription. Only I think $1 will be deducted and it will be refunded immediately in your account. So no
Oh, okay.
charges.
So that
But
is
make
in
sure that,
AWS, right?
yes, you are going to get at least 200 US dollars. And make sure that if you're creating any EC2 instances or anything, you are also deleting them immediately without keeping them live, or make them shut down. So no charges will be there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so create your account and we'll set to your evening and my morning. Okay, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Good
Thank
night
you,
from
sir. Thank
India.
you
Bye
so much.
bye. Bye.
Bye bye.